welcome to the lecture number 31 of GU 103. Uh, After this lecture, we will have three more lecture on data structures. So this lecture will be the last lecture on the C programming of this course. And today we will discuss about file management in C. So after this concept file management in C, most of the concept of C is covered. Only two three concepts remains which are required for writing data structures program. So what I will do in from next class, as I have said, including to this lecture, I will upload four lectures. So after this lecture, there will be three more lectures coming. So in these three lectures, first one lecture will be the basics of data structures without explaining any code and all. So and the next two lectures I'll explain how to write a data structure code. So at that time I'll explain what are the additional concept of C programming required to write a data structure code. So again, since this course is it's a combination of programming and data structure, so I have given more weightage on programming because of this pandemic time. I was also a little bit slow because I wanted to explain a lot of things and put pressure on you, because it's not possible that you will understand and you will read the same speed if you were in institute. Okay, so the last concept that I am discussing here from C is file management in C. This is the easy concept but interesting. Why interesting? Because by this technique you can understand, you can handle a file. What is called file first of all? So if we go for file, any of these things, whatever you're seeing, it's you can say a file. For example, if I go inside this, then this is a file, this is a file, this is a file. Now all these things are called file. You can also create a notepad file. The in fact the program that you are writing, that test.c, it's a file, right? When you compile this program, it will create another file, executable file. So all these things are called file. So now what we are trying to understand is how to read and how to write from a file using C programming. Okay, so what we will do here, we'll try to write a small program here. uh, okay, so what we will do here, we'll write a small program so that we can read the content of a file. So what I have done here, I have created some file here. See, there are two files in the same folder. So what you have to do, if you are working on VS Code, it is fine. If you are working on Ubuntu and you are running the program in Ubuntu, make sure that this file that you are creating and your C file are in same folder. If they are in not in same folder, then you have to give full path, which I am ignoring at this moment. I'm just assuming that the C program that you are writing and the file that you want to read write all are in same folder. So you can see that there is a file here, file1.txt, and in this file I have written something. This is a new file, and this is line number 2 in the file. Okay, so there are two lines written in this. You can, it's no need to create file here. You can also go to notepad and create a no file. So this is just a text file. Okay, and what I need to do here, I need to just print the content of this file from a program. So for this you need a file pointer. So you have to first of all create a file pointer. This is called file pointer. So this is the syntax of file pointer. You have to use the capital FILE and then a pointer. This pointer acts as a median between your program and the file. So this pointer, you can to open a file, you can use fp equal to fopen. Fopen is a function to open a file. So here fopen, you have to give the file name. So the file name is file1.txt. Okay, and in which mode you want to open. I want to open it in read mode. Read mode means I only want to read something from this file and nothing else. Okay, so if if by opening the file, if it's get some error, then fp will return null. So if fp equal to null, then write that printf file reading error, and then exit 0. Exit 0 means program will end here. Otherwise, if ftp is not null, that means file is able to open. Okay, fopen can successfully open the file. Now we want to read from this file and display it in the terminal. So how to read it? To read it, how to read, there are two three functions that we'll discuss. The first function that we'll discuss, it will read by character by character. So what it will do, let us open the file here. So it will read character by character, means it will read age, I space t age, like this, dot after dot it will read the new line character, and then it will go here. So one character by character it will read, and we'll try to print it here. And after reaching the last, after reading the last character of a file is called end of file, eof. The same, if you remember, when I have explained string, I said the last is a null character, right, stored in any string. The same in a file, the last character is invisible here, and it is called end of file, eof. So what I'll do here, I'll write a while loop. First of all, let me use a character c as a variable, and then write while c equal to get c. Get c is for get character from where, fp. Okay, and is if this is equal to if it is not equal to end of file. Okay, what we are doing here, this line, it is get c. Get c is a function to read one character from the file. And how we can access the file, if we want to access the file, you have to go through the file pointer that you have defined in line number 4. If you see line number 4, it is file is open, and it is the pointer is stored in fp. So you have to access communicate with the file through this file pointer fp. Get cfp mean it will read the content. Suppose there is the marker is here. Now there will be a marker like this. So marker is here, so get c will read age. After reading age, marker will move here. So next time when you will go for get c age, get c, then it will read I. After this, the marker will move here. So third time when you will go for get c, then it will read the third character, it is space. So in this way, one by one, it will read the entire content of the file, and when the last content will reach, it will read end of file. So if there is end of file, then it will come out of the while loop. Otherwise, what we will do, we'll just print whatever we are getting. So how we'll print it? We'll write put c. Okay, we'll write put c, and we'll print this c. And where to print? Which file? Put c get c is to read something from the file, and put c is to write something to a file. So which file we want to write? Actually, we want to print it in terminal, right? So terminal is also, there is also a file pointer for terminal. It's called stdout. Std out is, if you write std out, actually it's means that it is actually the terminal. So if you are writing something, put c is to write a character to a file. So here at line number 11, what you are doing, you are writing a character to the file called std out, which is terminal. So ultimately what will happen, the character will display in the terminal. So what you are doing inside the while loop, you are reading one character at a time from the file, and immediately you are displaying it the terminal. So let me run this code. If you run this code, see, see, it is showing this. This is a new file, and this is line number 2 in this file. So if I run this code again, let me run this code again. See what it is doing. It is reading from this file character by character, and it is printing in this terminal. So that's it, that is the main point here. I'll not go in much detail about file, because only the understanding the basic concept of file will be enough for this course. And for this for as a beginner of this c programming, if you only understand the basics of file and how to read from a text file, how to write from a text file, that will be enough. Means how to read from a text file, how to write to a text file, then I think your purpose will be served. Okay, so now next question is, what I want to do is, instead of std out, which is the standard input output terminal, what I want to do, I want to save read from file 1.txt, and I want to write the data into a different file, which I will make, and not std out. Std out is a terminal. So what I'll do, I want to create another file called file 3.txt. So what I'll do here, I'll just open another file here, and I need another pointer here for another file, because I have two files, so fp and fp1. So fp1 will open another file called file3.txt. in write mode because I want to write in this file. What I basically want to do, I want to read from file1.txt and write it to file2.txt. So when line number 6 will execute here, you can see in this folder, file3.txt is not here, right? Only 1 and 2 are there. But the moment you run this code, every time if you say that, okay, open a file called file2.txt in write mode, if the file is there, then it is fine. It will open the same file, but it will delete all the old content. But if the file is not there, then first of all, this function will create the file and then it will open for you. Okay. So and then after this, what we will check here, if fp is null or fp1 equal to null. If any of them is null, then there is a issue. Okay. If there is no issue, then we will go here. And now what we'll do, we'll read character by character, and everything is same, but instead of std out, I want to write it somewhere else. Where I want to write it in fp1. Okay. Nothing else need to be done here. You can add a printf statement here to just for your reference, that you can say here that file copy is done. Means copying means we are copying from file1 to file3.txt, not 2.txt. It should be 3.txt, right? So file3.txt. Okay, so let us run the code. See, if we run the code, what is the first thing will happen? 5 is fine. Line number 6 will try to open a file called file3.txt in write mode, but that file is not in this folder. So since it is not in folder, it will create a file called file.txt, and then one by one in this while loop, it will read one character at a time from file1.txt, and it will store it in file3.txt. Okay, so let me run this code. See, there is a file 3 is created now. It was not there. And let me open file 3. If you open file 3, see all the content of file 1.c is copying here. These are the original content of file 1.c, and our this program has copied the content from file 1.c to file 3.c. See, everything is copied here. Character by character we have copied, one character at a time. Okay. I hope this part is clear to you. And now I'll move to a different part where I'll explain you that, okay, here it is fine that we are reading one character at a time from a file, but that is not efficient, because every time we're going for to request something, and we are just reading one character. It when the computer is capable to read more number of character at a single time. Okay, so it's better not to read as a character at a time. It's better to read a chunk of character at a time when every time we'll go to the file. So the best way is to read one line at a time. Every time when you go to a file, read one line, and next time when you again go, it will read the next line, like this. So to do this, instead of get c, what I will do, this part will be remain safe. Only here, if I want to retrieve a line at a time, then and we have to store this line somewhere. So we need a array of character, right, to store a string, because the line is a string. So suppose maximum size of a line is 80. So I'm using a array of character called 80, and then here I'll write line. Okay, and it should be f get s, f get s. Okay, f get s, then sorry, it's not like this. It should be like this: f get s line, then size. Maximum size should be suppose 80, and from which file? File pointer is fp. Okay, and first of all, let me just print it. Okay, so I'll write printf line that it is reading slash n percent s, and let me just print the line what it is reading. This line is not required. Try to understand the code what I have written. First of all, you have to understand getters, not fgetters. I have not explained you what is called getters. Try to read it by yourself. You just Google it. What is called getters, you'll understand. Getters means it will to read one line at a time from the terminal. So it's same as scanf person s, but same as so if you write get s, it will wait in your terminal like scanf to read a complete line. So whatever you will type in your terminal and before and press enter, then entire thing will be read as a get s. And what is f get s? F get s means reading a line from the file. Get s is to reading a line from input terminal, and f get s means reading a line from a file. So you have to give the file pointer. So this is the third parameter here is the file pointer, that it will read line from which file. It's indicated by this file pointer. It means fp is actually pointing which file, file1.txt. So it will read one line from the file.1.txt. Second parameter 80 says what should be the maximum length of that line. So maximum length I'm mentioning here is 80. More than 80 is not possible, because in line number 11 we said that the string size is 80. So maximum character possible per line is 80 we are given. And when it will read the line, what it should store the line, was if after reading a line from the file, where this line should be stored, it should be stored in this variable line, and this variable is defined in this previous line at line number 11. Okay. So if you just see again the at line number 12, it is f gets mean it will read one line from the file and store in this string called line. And every time it will read one line at a time, one line at a time. At the end, when there is, so if you go for this file, first time your program will read this line, first line, and then it will read second time when you call fgetters, it will read the second line, and then control will be after this control should go to third line, but there is no third line. So third time when you go for fgetters, it will return a null. It will return a null, and that should be the stopping condition, right? That should be the stopping condition. That's why you're checking if uh, instead of end of file it should be null now. So why null? Because f gets returned null when there is no line remains in the file. So let me run this code for you. What I am doing here, first of all, try to understand. Only this part is an. If you understand this part, then it is fine. You are understanding the program. We are reading one line at a time from this file, file1.txt, and we are printing it. So at this moment, file 3 is not working. We are not doing anything with file 3, but I am not deleting it because next example will be based on file 3. So let me run this code. See, when we are running this code, what it is doing, it is reading one line at a time, and it is storing in here a line, and then I am printing this line here, printf percentage line, and it is printing both the lines here. I hope it is clear to you that how file fgetters can be used to read one line at a time from the file. And f get s, then now what I'll do here, I'll go even further, and what I'll do now, I'll try to read one line at a time from file1.txt, and I'll try to write the same line, one line at a time in file3.txt. Okay, so let me write this code. So before writing this code, what I'll do, I'll delete the current content of file 3. I have deleted the content of file 3. Now I'll write a code to copy the content of file 1 and write it in file 3, but one line at a time, not character by character. So I'll go here, everything will remain same here, fget is remain same, only this line will change. So line number 413 will be this, f put c. So f put c, put s, sorry, f put s is to print a line to the file. Print means write a line to the file. Get means get a line from the file, and put means put a line or write a line to the file. Okay, and which line? This line. And which file you want to write? fp1. fp1 means file3.txt. So after executing this program, this one line by line it will read from file 1, and the line will be stored in temporarily in line variable, this string, and then I'll write it back here. And one important thing that I have missed in my first two example is, every time if you open a file, don't forget to close it. So you have to write f close, you have to write f close fp, and then after this you then after this you need to write f close fp1. Don't forget this line number 15 and 16 are very important. So I missed that in my first two example, but you have to use it. If you are opening any file, you need to close it. Okay, so now let me run this code again. So if I run this code again, let me check the file. This is the original content of file 1. So and now let us go to file 3. See, file 3 is now populated with the content of file 1. So one line at a time is written here. and this is how this program is working. So I hope from these two examples, file, how to write from one file to another file, how to read from a file, how to write to a file, all this thing is clear. Also the concept of put c, get c, f get s, f put s, all these things are also clear to you. Just if I change a small thing here, since f put s is to print something to a file, so if I use here std out, stdout, then what it will print, what it will do, instead of writing to any specific file, this program will print it in the terminal, because it will write to this std out, and it is the actually terminal. So let me run this code again. See, it is printing here, so it is printing in terminal. So std out is also a file pointer. And but if you check at line number 6, what you have done in line number 6, you have opened file 3.txt in write mode. So previously in file 3.txt there were some content, right? We have copied two lines from file 1 to file 3. But now if we open file 3, there will be no content here. Why no content? Because every time if you open a file in this mode, file t in write mode, then it will delete the existing content and it will go for a new mode. Okay, so there are many file opening mode here. If you go to this chapter, you will find it. These are the functions. Some of the functions written here I've explained, and some other function you can read by yourself. And but always remember, for this course curriculum, only the functions that I'm explaining in my lecture will be important. Other functions you may skip also. Okay, so see here, if we go, all these modes are written: read mode, write mode, append mode. So, and there are some other modes also exist: R plus, W plus, A plus. So these reading and writing mode, you have to understand everything. Maybe I can ask question from append mode also. What is append mode? So all these things you have to understand by yourself. Then closing file, I have already explained that you have need to close file. Why it is required more in more detail, it is written here, you must understand from here. Okay, input output operation, put c get c I have explained you. Then put w get w is for integer, you can skip it. I will not ask any question from put w get w, it is not required. uh, and then f printf and f scanf is important. Printf and scanf, you know, na purpose of printf and scanf the same thing. F printf is the same thing. Printing something to a terminal is printf, and printing something to any file is called f printf. Remaining format is everything is same, only you need to pass the particular file pointer, which pointer. So if you want to replace a printf with f printf, then what you can do here, just instead of a file pointer here, you can use std out. What we can do, let me I want to print this line. Okay, so but not using printf, using f printf. So what I'll do here, I have to pass a file name. So what is the file name? stdout. This is the file. Okay, and I think this will print. Let me run this code. Other part is not important, only the last line is important. See, last line 17 is now printing here. So instead of printf, we can also use f printf. F printf means printing in any file. So and what is the advantage of fprintf over fputs? Both are printing in terminal, right? But it is simply straightforward, it will print a line. But you know, in printf you can format a particular line, like %d, %s, how many space you want to give. All this formatting, the printf is very rich in formatting, so you can format your string according to the control string, like %d, and then you can directly write to a file. So you can go to this content of this f printf, and you try to study it, try to understand the concept of f printf. And then after this, there is another concept called f scanf. It is also very easy, a easy concept, because if you understand f printf, f scanf is the reverse of printf, right? And you know the concept of scanf, so f scanf will be also easy for you. So you have to study f printf and f scanf from this book. Okay, and then error handling, yes, you quickly read error handling. If I'll not explain it, but at least you should know what is how to handle error. But basic thing will be enough, and I'm already using it here. See, error handling, I'm using it here. So this these basic knowledge will be enough for from error handling. And then random access file is not required. Okay, so what is the content actually required for this course I've explained. So what you can skip, actually you can skip actually this put get w, put w function, you can skip, you can read it, but I am not expecting that you should understand it for the exam purpose, but remaining most of the part you should read, but you will understand it. If anything is not clear, you should let me know. Up to random access to file, random access to file will not be required. I'm not explaining it here because otherwise it will be too complicated. I don't want to make it complicated. So what I've explained you, that reading a file line by line from the beginning. Random access means suddenly if you want to read line number 30, then what need to be done? So that is called random access file. How to jump a control from this line to line number 70 so that you can start reading from line number 70. So that part I'm not explaining. That is, I'm not considering this as a part of this course. Okay, if you understand sequential reading of a file, that is enough. But the sequential reading of a file is very very important for as a programmer. Why? Because a many time when you will go for a competitive programming tournament, or maybe the assignment given by your faculty members, most of the time what happens, people will give you a file of input data. It's not like that every time you'll write a program and you'll go for a scanf, then enter the value of a, and then again another scanf for enter the value of b, and you'll enter the value of a and b, and then you'll add it and you'll print. It's mean that every time it's
So
not
you
like
can
this, that you
see
will
here
enter
that the
input
content
from
of
a
file
terminal.
1.txt is now
Most of the time
copied in
what will
file
happen, that there will be
3.txt,
big
which
data. For
was
example,
our
suppose I have given
requirement.
you a
So
student record,
every time
means
if you
the
go for
student
append
record
means it
of
will just append.
50 or 500
Okay.
student record
And if you
stored
go
in a
for write, then
simple
it will
file
remove
.txt
the
file
existing
like
code and
this.
write a new thing.
And every student has a line here, and every student, there is a column called marks. So what you have to do, your task is read the complete student records and find the average of all the marks. So maybe this data will be like this: name Rahul, and then age maybe 24, and last one is suppose marks out of 100, suppose 80, and then next is Sachin, space, age suppose 34, and marks is 90. Like, you assume that there are many such variables in this file. And what I have, my assignment that I have given you, write a program, a C program, so that can read this file and then calculate the average of all these marks. So for this two row, what should the average? Average is 80 plus 90 divided by 2. So you have to do this. So for to do this, what you first point is, you should know how to read a file. And some more thing you need to be done that I'll not explain here, but you should know. First thing is, you know how to read line by line, right? You go for f get s, it will give you a line. So the moment you get a line here, what I am doing here, I'm just printing this line. So instead of printing this line here, what you need to do here is, first of all, you have to parse this line. Because what is the purpose now is, you somehow we need to separate this term called 80, because now you have the entire line in your program, entire as a string. So what you have to do, first of all, you have to parse this string into multiple parts. And this type of functions are there in string.h. So what it will do, it will divide this string into three part: Rahul, 24, and then 80. And then you have to convert this 80 into an integer by atoi, means atoi. There is a function that I have told you to understand by yourself. Because initially 80 is a string, you need to convert it to an integer or a floating point variable, and then you have to store it. So you have to do the same process for all the rows here, and then finally you can calculate the average. So but the first part is, reading from a file is very very important. I hope it is clear to you. So that's why I have explained it, that how to read from a file. So next, what I'll show you, that how to open a file in append mode, and what are the effects. So you can see in this program, what I have done, I'm doing is, I'm just changing this write mode to append mode. So here I'm opening file 3.txt in append mode. So if you are opening a file in append mode and the file is already there, then it will just open the file and it will not delete the existing content. So if you open the file 3 now, it has two lines already. This is old line, and this is also old line. So there are two. This is, let me write, this is the old line, and this is also old line. Okay, there are two lines already there. So now if we go to the program and see line number 6, now this when will execute line number 6, it will open this file 3.txt, while it will not delete the existing one. It's append, means it will, if you want to write something now, it will append, means it will add after these two line. So what I am doing in this program, you know what I am doing, I am reading from file 1 and trying to write it in file 3. So what is the content of file 1? File 1 has two line now, na? Rahul and Sachin. So these two lines should be added here as a line 3 or line 4. So let me just run this code here. I have run this code. Let's go and check file cc. So I hope the concept of file is clear. So there is nothing more to explain from this file. So you try to understand, try to experience, try to write some code and experience it by yourself. So that is a different part. So again, I'm explaining, means repeating what I said. For exam purpose, whatever I explain in this lecture will be enough. Without this, I may only ask you the concept of f scanf and f printf. Otherwise, other part is not required, but whatever I've covered in this class, you should know all these things. Okay, so I hope this concept of C programming is already done. Only few parts are required. For example, self-referential structure is not explained, which is required for the data structure concept. So that I will explain when after explaining the basics of data structure. And in data structure, I will only explain the linked list part, because I don't have time. I'll not go for some other concepts. Okay. And there is one more announcement, is there will be one more class test, or we can say quiz. So that will be quiz number 5. So most probably today is 25th, so before 30th November I will take one more quiz, and that will be the last quiz of this course. And then there will be answer. And I hope you are submitting your lab assignments, because lab assignments are also important. Okay, so from next class, I'll start explaining the concept of data structure, especially the linked list. Okay, thank you for watching this lecture. I'm stopping this lecture here.